Alright, boys, it's your boy, Video Man, and today we are here in the ice cream parlor. Welcome back to the ice cream parlor, by the way. We are here talking defensively biased teams. Now, I have decided how the schedule is going to go, and I will be DMing my friends, otherwise known as the masterful guests, who will be co-teaching you with me as soon as I possibly can, but I'm going to explain it to you guys this way. So, first, the draft league battles. Those are going to come out as those are going to go up as they come out. Literally, as soon as I'm done battling, I, click stop recording, and I upload it to YouTube. Grab a thumbnail, upload it to YouTube. Easy. This ice cream parlor thing is coming once a week. That's just all I can manage. If I can manage more, you'll get more. That's for sure. If I can do it, I will. And rejuve is, I'm gonna try to get that to happen twice a week, but I still have real life stuff to do too, right? I can't just constantly be prepping for 2 draft leagues that I really do want to succeed in. Play rejuve and do this at all the same time, along with other mon stuff in the chromatic league. There is the team, the situation going on there with creation, destruction, and order, and all of that. Currently, we're in the lead. We're almost double. We are exactly. Nope, we are almost double. The tech team behind us, which is pretty cool because it's literally just me and one other person on our team. So it's a good vibe, but the music's kind of quiet. That's what's going to be happening. So I have the order in which I'm going to complete these, but our guests should start appearing. I have only 3 locked down, so hopefully one of them will be able to show up 2 times. I really want that to happen really bad, but we're talking defensively biased teams here now, as opposed to bulky offense, or I believe I talked about this before with another archetype. Most likely, what have we done so far? Hyper offense, stall, trick room, and something else. We did 3 of those. We're talking defensively biased today. The reason that I think that's all we did, right? Hold on. Your channel. Playlists. Yeah, yeah. So trick room, hyper offense, stall. That's all we've talked so far. We still need to talk weather, offensively, defensively biased, we're doing defensively biased. We need to do weather, balance, offensively biased, bulky offense. So 4 episodes plus the bonus prep episode. So most likely it'll be this one by myself, the next one by myself, and then we're gonna have guests. So we are talking, like I said, defensively biased teams. When I say defensively biased, what I mean is a team put together that has the majority of their mons dedicated to defensive roles. This does not mean each of the Pokemon are defensive in any way, shape, or form. In fact, having good versatility and options is still a very big, important part of succeeding with this type of archetype. What I mean by that is you're going to have to fill out all your speed tiers. You're going to need to make sure you have enough removal and enough offensive pressure to make your walls succeed. Part of what makes defensively biased teams great, in my opinion, is that you really do need high caliber walls. That's why it's kind of hard to draft, to be honest with you, because you're going to need a very good quality of both walls and offensive mons to be able to have your defensive mons put in that much more work, right? So what I mean by that is, say your offensive mon is so good enough that you're going to need to force your opponent to bring a wall to check special X Pokemon and physical X Pokemon, along with maybe need to revenge kill a certain Scarfer, right? So it really benefits from mons that will force the opponent's hand. We're going to talk about those, of course. Offensively, I think Aegislash is good, but I honestly don't recommend it as much for offensively biased teams because you're going to want your threats to be a bit quicker. Azumarill, similar issue. It has priority, just like Aegislash. Azumarill has a little bit more options though with Sap Sipper if you wanted to do that. Skita only works in rain. Blacephalon, I don't recommend Blacephalon as much, just because it's so like it's gonna be special. Or actually, that's not true. You could run physical now, I guess. You could run physical. Steeler, Clef, both excellent options for defense on the defensive side. I don't recommend Conch Elder, just because it's much harder to set up than Azu or Aegislash. You don't need to bulk up and everything. And while it totally can, uh, Mach Punch as your priority is kind of, it's all right. But Conch Elder is still a very hard bond switch to. Glaring Darmanitan. I won a league. I took a championship belt with this on my defensively biased team. I had 3 offensive mons, and one that went both ways. And Darmanitan was really the hard carry, and the reason it was so good was because it's obviously very linear, right? You're only going to bring physical, right? But what really made it great was the Scarf. So the Scarf meant that an opponent's faster offensive threat needed to be Scarfed to revenge kill if they couldn't wall it, which was very likely. Very few teams could wall Darmanitan effectively. So they had to bring a Scarf or 2 revenge kill, and that let my walls take advantage. So, we didn't have to deal with Specs Blacephalon anymore. We had to just deal with Scarf Blacephalon. Or we didn't have to deal with Specs Dragapult. We had to deal with Scarf Dragapult. You see what I'm saying? That's why it really did help. Dracovish, very similar thing. Issue with Dracovish I have is that it's one move, and while that one dimension and one move is death, Water Absorb's a huge issue. Along with bulky grass types can kind of just take care of it. For instance, now that it's back, I believe. Well, I guess there's not a lot of don't get me wrong. There are very few options to wall this mon. That's what makes it better. But Darmanitan having the different moves to lock itself into is very good. Another boost of Dracovish is that you can run different items. You can run subsets or whatever. But the thing that makes Darm so much better is that it is locked into move, and you're going to be scarfing it every single week. And it has a faster speed tier if you do want to run Banded as a breaker. 95 is a very good speed tier, I think, as a second or third fastest mon. I'd say third or fourth fastest mon, actually. It's a very good speed tier. Dracovish is kind of on the lower end, unfortunately, but it's a very good scarfer. The issue is that, like I said, and then either slower mons, the opponent's slower threats can be scarfed to revenge kill it, where Darm is going to actually force an offensive, high caliber offensive threat to be scarfed, say Cinderace, to be scarfed to outspeed it. Same thing with, obviously, their aura, but say Dracovish is scarfed and your opponent's, I don't know, a Breloom or something, or they want to scarf their, I don't know. I think you get what I'm saying. It takes a lower speed tier to outspeed with a Scarf. That's the issue. D-Knight's okay. Drill is very good as utility mon, but I don't recommend wasting your tier 5 or your tier 1 on a utility mon. Ginger can be good. Hoopa is a very good breaker. I think it can be very valuable. Another thing that a Hoopa gives you that nothing else so far we've talked about. Oh, Dragapult's very good. I don't know how I skimmed over Dragapult. Dragapult's amazing because physical and special, plus having all that speed to maybe see, like, with all that speed you naturally outspeed Dracovish, right? That's one of the issues of having such a slow Scarfer. But having all that speed to go into bulk and having the ability to force your mon, like, hey man, I don't know if my opponent's Dracovish is going to be specs or maybe physical or special this week. That's a huge problem for your opponent, because now they have to bring a check for both physical and special, right? And that means you can guess 2 of their mons potentially, and heck, maybe they have to run a Scarf to outspeed you. That makes it easier on your walls, right? Same thing with Hoopa. It's a bit slower. Similar issue with the Dracovish. I believe they share the same speed tier, or a very similar one. Hoopa Unbound. Yeah, I think Hoopa is actually just a tad faster. Hoopa is just a tad faster. Hydreigon is very good with, I think it got much better with Dragon Dance this generation. D-Dance is kind of laughed on the ladder, but in draft it can be very good. Infernape is also what I had paired alongside Darmanitan as a double monkey core to help break through my opponent's team and limit the mons they could bring. The reason that Infernape is good is because of its offensive versatility, Swords Dance, Nasty Plot, Close Combat, Focus Blast, Flare Blitz, Flamethrower. priority on both sides, which is good. Excellent move pool. Jirachi, similar thing to Infernape. It's very versatile, and it also can play a defensive role if you wanted to. Kartana is another one of those mons that will force your opponent to bring a certain mon, or at least bend over backwards to prep for it. So it is a very good mon. Landorus is very good because it can go both ways with Scarf, or even just like Double Dance. Or you can just go and Intimidate lefties defensive. Latios and Latios are both very good. I think the generation now with Dragon Dance, Calm Mind, Agility, all those new moves, Aura Sphere, and Mystical Fire, those are all new moves that they got. Well, Latios already had Dragon Dance. But those are all excellent moves, and they give it an extra layer of versatility. Latios, I think, specifically is the better, because it has a pretty good speed tier. I believe it's 110. Yeah, they have a 110 speed tier, which is very good, along with being able to wish and all of that. They have just much more options, playing offensively or offensive or defensive role. Obviously, you're not going to get as much out of the D-Dance, so if you really do want something offensive, Latios is going to be just much better. Mew, King of Versatility. Scizor is also another good option, I think. Scizor's okay, actually. I don't recommend Scizor, never mind. Bulu is very good. Banded Bulu is excellent. Coco is very good. Lele is very good. All of those will force your opponent to work very hard and prep. Terrakion is very good. The new Urshifu styles, Urshifu Rapid and Single Strike style, are both insanely good this generation. Forcing your opponent that much, and being able to relax your walls a bit more, take a little bit of pressure off your walls, or they take a lot of pressure off your walls, is very good. Victini is also an immediate threat that really helps with your defensive backbone, although it is kind of on the slow side. It's just a little slow for what it does. It's a little slow, and it lacks power for that lack of speed. However, its move pool is so powerful it doesn't even matter. Volcarona is an option. I don't recommend it as much because you'd want something that also has immediate power, which Volcarona obviously does. But that weakness to Stealth Rock, not being able to run Scarf or Specs or anything else, is kind of an issue. Weavile's okay, don't recommend it. Zeraora is good because it can go both ways. Calm Mind, it's same thing with Infernape, exactly the same thing, except Infernape has the priority. Zygarde, don't recommend. Most of these are offensive threats. Obviously, we talked about these two. Very good with cost of power. This is very good. Another thing that's very good to help you with would be Regenerator. Tangrowth and Mungus, both awesome. Blissey this generation, very good. I think Blissey is definitely better than Chansey this gen, which is cool to see. Bloom is good for priority, but it kind of can't go both ways. You're not going to want too many offensive mons. You also don't want too many Violite mons or knockoff weak mons, so Corsola and Chansey together, and big no-no. If you can get Corviknight, that's awesome, but I very much doubt you get Corviknight. Diggersby, I think, is also a very good mon. That'll force your opponent to bring certain mons, and again, take off pressure, because they're going to have to revenge kill you with something, right? Dracozolt is also a similar thing to Dracovish, just a bit slow. Diggersby is also slow, but you're getting a tier 2, so it's the value. Same thing with Dracozolt, except Dracozolt always will miss. Ferrothorn's a good wall, but I recommend having walls that can recover, or Synthesis or something that can give themselves like immediate recovery, such as Gliscor's Roost, or Florges is good for Wish. I had 3 Wish supporters actually on the team I won with. I had Florges, I had Chansey, and I had something else. I had 3 Wish support mons. It was very broken. I can see Grimstar also for defensively biased teams, but I just don't see it working out as much as if you're going to want walls and stuff like that. Powdown's good. If you can pair Powdown with... actually, never mind. We'll talk about that another time. Lucario is very good for tier 2. It's very ground weak, though, which, I mean, a lot of mons are, but make sure you just patch that up. Lucario can go both ways. Obviously, similar thing with Infernape and Zeraora. Magnusm's good to trap off steals if you're having a hard time dealing with steals. Mamoswine is just absolutely disgusting. Mandiba is an excellent wall. Defogger, Dark type, very good mon. So is Milotic. Reuniclus, very good because it gives you that mon that can go both ways in a lower speed tier, which is awesome. If Rillaboom has Grassy Surge, it'll probably be tier 1. But if it does, you can go ahead and pick that up. Rotom Heat's good because it can go both ways as well, to an extent. Serp's very good. Scolipede is very good. Slowbro is very good for teleport and regenerator. Um, Tango's good for regenerator. Sylveon's an excellent wish passer, I think, at least. Something interesting to note is Zarude could be good, but I just haven't seen it enough to justify it. The way I would put together a team would be 3 offensive threats, and then the rest as walls. Make sure you still fill out your speed tiers, meaning that don't let, just because you're a defensively biased team, don't give yourself speed tier gaps. That's a big problem I see a lot of people face, and you might think, well, they're walls. How do I make them fast? Pick walls that are naturally quick, just even if they just fill the speed tier, but make sure they do their role. For example, let's say you need something with the base 90 speed tier, right? And none of your walls are fitting exactly. You maybe grab Orbeetle as your web setter. Orbeetle has kind of low HP, but very good, and it has good speed. Now, you won't be often running speed on this mon, but that's not the point, right? The point is that the option is there. Has good utility, has a very versatile move pool. It can do a lot of things, and the option, that's the big part, is the option. For Purier, it's an okay wall. I don't recommend it as much. Snorlax is very good for tier 3. Tentacruel is good, but it can't recover on its. It can't do its own recovery. And Umbreon is very good. If you're having Mana Buzz for Defogger, don't. That's another thing. Make sure you have enough Defoggers and Weather Setters to kind of do justice. For instance, Spivey, Roserade, very good mon. Metagross is good because it can go both ways. Klefki is very good for screens and it's defensive. Incineroar is good for Intimidate. Maybe if you can pick up a double Intimidate core, it's very good. Galv is epic too because it has a very good speed tier, 108, along with webs. However, it's not as versatile, right? Darmfield's a good speed tier. Cloyster is kind of hit or miss, but I don't recommend it. Bronzong is an okay tier 3 wall, or tier 4 wall, whatever it's placed at. Alolan is very good. Alolan was my last wish passer I had on that team. So my wish passing core was Chansey, Alolan, and Florges. Araquanid is good as well. Tier 4, what are we looking at tier 4? Kyogre is interesting because it gives you Ice Spam, and a very good speed tier. I keep saying very good, but 105, excellent speed tier, good Spadef, Defog, Levitate, and Ice Spam. 95 is not anything to sneeze at, especially with the option of Specs and a okay move pool. Make sure you're only picking this thing up if you are able to use HP Ice or HP moves. Not HP Ice, is stupid. Fox is an okay speed tier. X-Mod is interesting as well because of Scarf Boomburst or Specs Boomburst. I don't recommend Ferroseed. It's just Ferrothorn without leftovers, which is even worse. Gastrodon is an excellent tier for wall, especially if you compare it with like something like Rotom Heat or Incineroar to give it that coverage or defensive utility it needs, or it even pairs very well with like something like Infernape, right? The Hitmons are all good. I think Hitmontop is the best one because of that option to remove with, or that option to go Assault Vest. Or they all can go Assault Vest, but Hitmontop is the best one, just by far. Triple Axle is amazing, got that. Jellicent's very good, wall down here. Licky Licky, you saw Orange use that to good success. It's very good. Registeel, very good. Mantine is awesome. It should not be tier 4, in my opinion. It's very good. Norvern's also an excellent lower tier threat because it's so fast. 103 is a very good speed tier, excellent speed tier. However, I don't recommend maybe capping with that. The team I took the league with was a bit slower, but it could afford to do that because I had Darm that was always going to be scarfed unless it was banded. In which case, it didn't need an extra power, it just needed extra speed. So I capped off with Latios at 110. So you can make a slower team succeed by far as long as you have the offensive mons you do have are threatening enough to force your opponent's mons to revenge kill. Um, Pangoro is a very good wall breaker. Um, Fetched, I think, is interesting to play around with. Vanillix is cool because it also got Aurora Veil this generation, so it can set a Veil, although I don't recommend it as much since you're going to be having mainly defensive mons. Nothing down here that's too valuable. Skunk Tank can be good as a grounded toxic, grounded poison, along with defog. What else? Nothing too much down here. Gotharita is usually tier 5 no matter what, so if you can get a tier 5 Gotharita with Shadow Tag, that's cool. Eldegoss is interesting, although it only has like grass moves. And now we get to talk megas. Now, the mega I used on my defensively biased team was Mega Venusaur. Shocker, right? Mega Venusaur took advantage of my opponent's needing to be scarfed so well, it was unbelievable. For instance, maybe I couldn't take three Shadow Balls from Specs Dragapult, but I could take 3 Shadow Balls from Scarf Dragapult, or something like that, right? Mega Bro got very good because of Teleport. The Lotties are also awesome, although if they're banned in your league, which they very well could be, that's a little annoying. Aggron pairs well with something like Topic Blue that we talked about earlier as an offensive defensive mon because of its access to grassy terrain and Mega Aggron's hatred toward ground types. Although it pretty much eats any one hit. It pairs also very well with Alola or Blorgus. Ampharos can work well. I don't recommend taking anything down here, unfortunately. Sceptile can. That's the thing. Sceptile is also, I think, very slept on because it'll give you so many points to work up here with. But if you can grab Sceptile, your opponent's almost always going to have a Scarfter because Sceptile hits like 145, I believe. 145. Tell me I'm right. 145, 145. So something's going to have to be Scarfed because look at that speed tier and then look at it with like Timid or Jolly. Like whoa. Swords Dance, Agility. Something's going to be Scarfed to revenge kill this mon, which lets your walls take advantage of it. Mega B, another interesting one. Mega Beedrill hits 145 as well. Similar thing. There's usually going to be a Scarfer, although you can wall Mega B a little bit easier than you can wall Sceptile, because Sceptile's move pool is just very, very good physically and especially because you can run Dragon Dance and all of that, right? Whereas you're just running physical Beedrill. Dance is interesting. I don't say these two as much. Gyarados can be cool to steamroll through things. Metacham, another thing that will force certain opponents to bring certain walls, but not necessarily Scarfers. Right, that's the thing. You want your opponents to take. You want to take advantage of your opponent's offensive ones, not their defensive ones. You're not looking to destroy their defensive ones. You're looking to. Well, you are looking to destroy their defensive ones, but you're also looking for something to force their offensive ones to a certain set. So Metacham is very good. Pinsir is good for priority. Scissors is good for priority. Sharpedo is good for being Sharpedo. I don't recommend any of these up here. I just don't think they're very good for this particular archetype. Zam could be good, but that's such a high speed tier. That's another thing. The speed tier is so high. So if you're going to jump back a Sceptile, maybe you get Talonflame to fill the speed tier gap. But yeah, I think that is going to be it. Our team that we drafted this season is very much a defensively biased team. As you can see here, we have actually a little bit more offensive mons, but it's definitely still leans toward the defensive style with Gudra, Alola, Registeel, Chan, Stunfisk, and Venusaur. Offensive mons using Coco, Cinderace, Gudra can go both ways. The Cinderace, Coco, Lycanroc, offensive mon. Sigilyph, also offensive mon. Krookodile go both ways. So it leans a little bit more toward balance. But say the Sigilyph was the Coco and Crocodile was Crocodile and Crocodile was something else to defensively, then it would be like an actual pure defensively biased team. But this is still leans a tad more to the defensive side of things, right? And Coco, very fast speed tier. It sometimes will force opponents to run Scarfers, um, stuff like that, right? I think that is all. So goodbye. God bless. Have a great day.